Hey guys, so today you and I are going to talk about being tired. So let's get into it. So the question in question was, Frederick, I have been a professional software engineer for about 20 years. Ooh, nice. I love programming, but I've grown really tired of legacy code and fixes and doing client support and stuff like that. I want to spend my days doing proof of concepts and research or more greenfield projects. What are my options? Well, I think that you will be a very good candidate for the startup life, because that's where you're going to have to go if you want this sort of stuff. Or perhaps you can start your own company, and starting an agency will definitely be something where you can do this sort of stuff, because usually the really big companies, that when they lack the infrastructure or the innovation, or they're simply just not able to get the budget for anything, for something in-house, they will offload work, usually demo work and proof of concepts and stuff like that, to agencies and consultancies and so forth. And this conspiracy theory, by the by, on why microservices became a thing is because of this. Because what do you want as a consultant? Well, you don't want to have to sit there with the entire fucking code base of this behemoth legacy system that the company that you're hired to is using. You want to create your own little cool thing and then have them deal with all the bullshit on the inside. That's what you want. Very efficient for you. Not so fun for us poor motherfuckers who work in the house, but hey, we're too dumb to start our to be consultants. Anywho, I would say that these are your options. Now, the startup life, you should know, is full of this stuff. I mean, it's not all unicorns and rainbows. Well, actually, in my company, there are a lot of unicorns, uh, but most companies don't have that many unicorns. Uh, and uh, what's really nice about it is that it's a much more into, like, you will find in on average that if you go to a good startup, you don't have to go to like the earliest stages of a startup, but that's where you most likely will find most of the proof of concepts and stuff like that. uh, you can go to one that is a little bit much more mature, but on average you will find that you're doing a lot more innovative work and like new things and so forth, rather than fixing old stuff. It also depends a lot on where the startup is in the life cycle, because you usually the way it goes is that the startup starts out being really innovative, and like there's a lot of proof of concepts and a lot of experimentation going on, and then as the company grows, you will get to what we call the scale up. And the scale up is basically the big problem area where most of the startups fail, where like I think it's almost 92% of all startups fail, something like that, in this space or before, in this space or before this space, and only a very small percentage make it beyond this. And this is where you are now trying to take all of this experimentation, all of these proof of concepts, where you're basically like you don't really have a process for anything. You're just kind of getting stuff done all the time, and everybody's just doing everything. And you have this one dude who founded the company, or this girl who is she's a lawyer slash PO slash dentist at the same time, and she has to work she has to work until a half hour after she goes to sleep, right? Just to keep the thing floating, right? And you're always on the clock and so forth. And this chaos stage where you're just getting a lot of the stuff that you're talking about. But once that settles down a little bit and you get some serious customers, the customers will no longer, you will know when it happens, because the customers will go from asking for new things like all the time to instead going and complaining over that stuff doesn't work. And then you know that the you still will do a lot of experimentations and proof of concepts, of course, and there's a lot of room for improvements. But now the legacy code fixes are coming, and now the client support is coming. Like, it's starting out. It's not most likely at the same stage as most of the larger companies, but it's coming your way. And there is no way for you to escape this. Not even in Google will you be able to have the sort of workflow that you're describing, because it's inevitable. It is the end state of every single IT company. Everyone. When you get a successful IT company, you always trade moving really, really fast and what is it Zuckerberg said, move fast and break things. Yeah, that doesn't actually work. It works a little while, and then people get really angry when you break their shit. So what I want you to take away from this is that if you want to go from working a lot with a lot of legacy code and client support and so forth, try out the startup life, or go to an agency, or start your own agency or something like that, because usually when you're in the proof of concept stages and the research and so forth, the greenfield projects that we like to call them, they are usually fresh things, and fresh things are usually happening at a much smaller scale, where you're building something completely from scratch. And usually that either happens because a big company, they have this new product, they got a budget for some cool new thing or new product that they want to develop, and they need someone to like build something really quick so that they can give even more funding to further the thing. Or you have the startup that has this cool idea who's going to want us to make something. And usually the way it goes is that you build the thing, you hack things together, and you do all this experimentation and innovation. You just chip, and then you continue that process until people start complaining and bitching about that things they don't work and so forth. And you transition from having new features every day to just to more and more fixing things. And then before you know it, you're back to where you started, and now you need to find another startup. Or yeah, that's pretty much it. Have a great day.